Meet short and stocky footwork man, father of Joel Embiid and point guard for the New York Knicks. All right, let me stop. But actually, Jalen Brunson has been on a burner recently. This year's playoffs, he's averaging 36.6 points a game. He's going insane. He has scored 40 in his last 4 games, closing in on the record of 6 straight 40-point playoff games by Jerry West. If I'm being honest, I can see a world where the Knicks take down the Boston Celtics. I don't know if that's a little too far-fetched to say right now, but that is my kind of bold prediction, is they are a team, one of the few that I could see beating Boston, because Boston, they have not been able to perform well under strong pressure the last few seasons. Even though their roster is a little more talented this year, I don't know for sure if I can trust them in the playoffs. However, I wouldn't be surprised if they beat the Knicks. Now, the reason Jalen Brunson has leveled up so much in the playoffs is because he has taken on a higher scoring load and higher shot volume. The rotations usually for the New York Knicks stay about the same because their coach is literally a terrorist. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. And he doesn't care if everyone on the team plays 48 minutes a game. He does not care. He will play them anyway. Jalen Brunson has been performing very, very well in these playoffs, averaging stats of 36.6 points, almost 5 rebounds, 8.5 assists, 44% shooting from the field, shooting almost 29 shots a game. The percentages are not great. Since those 2 stinkers that he put up, he has been averaging 42 points on 50% shooting in his last 5 games, along with 9.4 assists, which is just ridiculous. He's playing so well. He's playing so efficient. He is one of the biggest reasons why you cannot count out this Knicks team. And not gonna lie, this guy's kind of being a little bit of a free throw merchant, shooting 11 a game. No, I'm just kidding. So far in the Pacers-Knicks series, the Knicks are up 1-0. Something that I've been hearing a little bit as these playoffs have been going on is that Brunson just almost needed to get past the first round matchup against the Sixers, because both teams that he could have played in the second round, the Bucks and the Pacers, don't really have someone that can guard him, because all they have is a 6-year-old traffic cone named Tyrese Halliburton. The main thing that brought the Pacers into game 1 has been their ball movement and their fast pace, which is pretty much their team identity, is playing at the highest pace they can and getting as many shots up and getting out in transition. The Knicks play a lot slower of a pace of basketball, with some players running more isolation plays, Jalen Brunson being one of them, and it seems to be working out very well for them so far this playoffs. Even though they do run some nice sets, like some pick and rolls between him and Hartenstein, Brunson is one of the best, and I said it, the best in the NBA when it comes to creating his own shot. My personal pick for this series is the New York Knicks in 6 games. I don't believe that the Pacers are as bad as their regular season kind of made them seem, especially with the Halliburton injuries, but I do believe they might be able to take a game or 2 here from the Knicks, because the game 1 was really, really close and came down to the last minute or 2 of the game. Overall, I do believe that Jalen Brunson has benefited from the chemistry of his teammates, him and his Villanova boys in Dante DiVincenzo and Josh Hart. Their team's chemistry is so great, and they just seem like best friends on and off the court. I mean, Brunson even has a podcast with Josh Hart where they throw little digs at each other, which that's what makes it even funnier. You can tell that their friendship is true. One thing I do really like about this Knicks team, other than the hard hustling and aggressive defense they play, is the round mound of rebound 2.0 in Josh Hart. The guy is only 6'4", which is incredible to me, because in the regular season he averaged 8 rebounds, but then in this year's playoffs he's averaging 12.5. A guy 6'4" averaging 12.5 rebounds. You know how insane that is? Besides that, Jalen Brunson has been very, very elite in these playoffs. His percentages were thrown down a little bit by those first 2 stinkers he put up against Philly. If I'm being completely honest, the Knicks have been my favorite team to watch so far this playoffs, even though I am a Thunder fan. Obviously, they played the Pelicans in the first round, which I knew wasn't going to be a very close series, so I was watching more of the Knicks than anything, and they have been so fun to watch. I love watching how talented their team is, how stacked their roster is, even throughout the injuries. They have so many guys that are willing to give everything they have on the court, which not a lot of teams have. Heck, they even have Big Papa Smurf coming off of an ankle injury, and he's been playing very well. He played really, really good defense against Joel Embiid and was very physical with him, which in those matchups, you wanted somebody that would be physical with Embiid, and he held his own very, very well. I will say my only worry for Jalen Brunson going forward, hopefully he won't get any fatigue or anything from playing so many minutes in so many games, but I do think that his defense isn't the greatest, so I just hope that that doesn't come back to bite him later on. Right now, it seems like he's doing an okay job. He has definitely been holding up his own on the offensive end of the ball, being arguably the best player so far in this playoffs. Him and Anthony Edwards are probably my two for this conversation, and he has just been so downright amazing, and I just can't even believe what I'm watching half the time when I watch Brunson. I don't know for sure if that's a fact or not, but he's definitely up there for one of the shortest starting players in the NBA, and you wouldn't even notice on the court because of how amazing he is at getting to his spots. His footwork is some of the best I've ever seen. I don't know how he does it. He always finds a way, whether he has a smaller player on him, he finds a way to get his shots over them and beat them off the dribble, or some of the taller players, he can get them with a pump fake, draw a foul if they're a little slower on their feet. And also, probably something that does factor into his game is aura. Jalen Brunson has aura. He's definitely in the aura category. He's very underrated, especially this playoffs. I think he's been building it up a lot more, especially with the tape that he puts on his hand and his wrist. It just makes the aura even stronger. No glazing, all right? No glazing. I do really think, though, that the Knicks can be a serious title contender this season, and especially watching the Timberwolves dismantling the Denver Nuggets in the first 2 games of that series, it kind of makes you see that the West is a lot more open than people thought. I had Denver coming out of the West, and I figured they'd beat Minnesota in 7. That is still definitely a possibility, but it's going to require an entire different Nuggets team to beat the Timberwolves. Jalen Brunson went from living in Luka's shadow, playing on the Mavericks, and Jalen Brunson in game 2 of the first round when Luka Doncic was out against the Utah Jazz, Brunson went for 41 points. This is when, for myself, I started really keeping an eye on him, because you can tell he was not your ordinary number 2 option on this team. When he was on the Dallas Mavericks for his best season there, he averaged 16.3 points on 50% shooting and 37% from the 3. The thing is, he had the skills and he had all the tools he needed. He wasn't in a bright enough light on this team, and obviously the offense ran through Luka Doncic. Jalen Brunson is one of the best decisions their organization has ever made. He's a guy that can facilitate the offense, and he can score from any level, and he can do anything you need to on the offensive side of the ball. He may not be the greatest defender, but he definitely makes up for it with his elite playmaking and scoring abilities. And one thing that I wanted to say about Brunson is I feel like he honestly did have a sneaky MVP argument as well. Do I think he would have been number 1 for the award? I don't think so, but as for Basketball Reference, they had him at 8th in the MVP voting. Once again, the statistics don't always exactly tell the full story, but he did everything he's doing with one of the most injured rosters that this league had this season. It's kind of the same argument as from when Jokic won MVP in 2022. I don't want to put Brunson as the number 1 MVP, but I would say he's not getting as much credit as he should have for the season he had with the roster that his team had, and they still won 50 games. So I'm just saying I believe he should have been a little higher in that aspect. Overall, if you haven't watched a Knicks game this season, I would start right this second the next time they play, because I mean, Brunson is so fun to watch. Every time he has the ball, you know he's going to make something exciting happen. Once again, Tom Thibodeau is a menace to society, so when you turn the game on, you know Brunson's going to be on the court 95% of the time, because at the worst, he's going to play still 42 minutes a game, if not more than that, every single night. Thank you all for watching today's video. I'm Mason Moves, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Thank you for all the love on the videos recently, and we are only like 57 subscribers away from hitting 1,000, which was my goal, hopefully by the end of May. Thank you all for watching, and as always, ball never stops.